Hello everyone. Welcome to our new session on MuleSoft interview questions and answers. We have listed top 52 questions, along with their answers, that will help you prepare for your upcoming interview, or will help you test your knowledge. MuleSoft is an integration platform for connecting enterprise and SaaS applications in the cloud and on-premise. We have two detailed sessions on MuleSoft available on our channel. Please refer to it for detailed session by MuleSoft certified expert. Let's get started. First question, what are the various types of messages in MuleSoft? Various types of messages in MuleSoft are echo and log message, bridge message, and build messages. Next, what is Mule ESB? Mule ESB is an architecture developed for programmers. They can integrate a range of applications together, using the bus-like infrastructure. Mule ESB can be integrated with HTTP, web service, JMS, etc. Next, list types of variables in MuleSoft. Three types of variables in MuleSoft are, first is flow variable. It is used to either set or removes variables tied to a particular message in the current flow. Second is record variable. It is used for batch processing flows. And the third one is session variable. This variable is used to either set or remove variables tied to a particular message for the complete lifecycle. Next, what is fan-in and fan-out? Fan-in helps in taking a decision to continue flow execution. It be used in combination with fan-out. Fan-out is primitive that can be used to input messages through the output terminal once or more than one time. It can also be used as a combination of both fan-out and fan-in. Next, what are the features of Mule ESB? The features of Mule ESB are, it offers service-level agreement monitoring and API management facility. It has easy-to-use and drag-and-drop graphical design. It provides high scalability. It enables developers to deploy in one-click cloud or on-premise deployments. Next, mention the basic principles of ESB integration. The following are the basic principles of ESB integration. First is transportation. It negotiates between different formats like JDBC, HTTP, JMS, etc. Second is transformation. It deals with the transportation of data between data formats needed by the ESB connector. Third, we have non-functional consistency. It is the way of how monitoring and security policies are applied and should be consistent. Next is mediation. It involves offering different interfaces to, enables different channels to the same component implementation. And, support various service versions for backward compatibility. Moving on, what is Mule Expression Language? Mule Expression Language is a lightweight Mule-specific language that can be used to access and evaluate data in the payload. Next, list various types of endpoints in Mule ESB. Various types of endpoints in Mule are JMS, HTTP, SMTP, IMAP, and AJAX. Next, what is the full form of SDO? The full form is a service data object. Next, what is Mule Transformer? Mule Transformer is an event instance that refers to a library, org.mule.api.mule event. This object carries the message with the event. The main aim of the Mule Transformer is to create a chain of transformers. Next, what are different types of exception handling? Different types of exception handlings are rollback exception handling, default exception handling, catch exception handling, global exception handling, and choice exception handling. Next, what is a transient context? Transient context is used to pass the values within the existing flow, either requesting flow or the responding flow. Next, what are the advantages of using ESB? The advantages of using ESB are, it offers a high level of the operational controlling facility from the portal that is based on the web. ESB provides numerous connectivity options using SaaS-based applications. It provides API and analytics management. It is equipped with numerous bugs fixing and automated testing facilities. It provides electronic data interchange and business-to-business integration. Batch integration feature using real-time integration methods. Next, what is API? API is the acronym for Application Programming Interface. It is a software interface that allows two applications to interact with each other, without any user intervention. APIs provides product or service to communicate with other products and services, without having to know how they're implemented. Next, what are the features of API? Some essential features of API are efficiency, wider reach, customizable, personalization, data ownership, easy integration with GUI, time effective, and language independent. Next, what is the payload in MuleSoft? The payload is a Mule runtime variable that stores objects or arrays. It helps developers to access payload under different forms. Next, explain the concept of correlation context. It is a primitive that is used to pass values from request flow to response flow. Next, what are the various parts of composing a message in Mule? Different parts of composing a message in Mule are: first is properties. It contains the header or meta information or header like the simple object access protocol message. Second is payload. It is the main data context carried by a particular message. Third is multiple name attachments. It provides support for multiple messages or payload that occurs during event processing. Next, mention flow processing strategies in MuleSoft. MuleSoft has following strategy for flow processing: queued asynchronous flow processing, custom flow processing, thread per processing, queued flow processing, non-blocking flow processing, synchronous flow processing, and asynchronous flow processing. Moving on. What are different types of primitives used in mediation? Different types of primitives used in mediation are: endpoint lookup, data handler, message element setter, DB lookup. Service invoke, type filter. Stop, subflow, custom mediation fanout, fan-in, even emitter, header setters, message logger, XSLT, BOMAP message filter, and fail. Next, name the different types of ESPs used in the market. Different types of ESPs used in the market are Mule ESB, JBoss Fuse ESB, and Tayland. Next, define the model layer in Mule. The model layer is the first logical layer. It represents the runtime environment that hosts services. This layer describes the behavior of Mule when processing requests that are handled by services. It offers services with default values to simplify configuration. Next, explain the connector in MuleSoft. A connector in Mule controls how a particular protocol used. It can be configured with parameters which are specific to that protocol. The connector holds any state context which can be shared with any entity in charge of actual communications. Next, what is endpoint in Mule? An endpoint in MuleSoft indicates a particular usage of a protocol. It is for polling, reading from, or writing to a destination. Therefore, it controls what underlying entities would be used with a dependent connector. Next, define component in Mule. Components perform an important role in MuleSoft services. Every service is organized with core components and core and inbound and outbound routers. They are used to implement behavior in service. It can be very simple, like logging messages or invoking other services. Next, what is the use of outbound endpoint in MuleSoft? Outbound endpoint in MuleSoft is used to perform the following things, that is, send SOAP messages, write to file streams, and send email messages. Next, define configuration builders in MuleSoft. MuleSoft is a configuration builder to translate a configuration file into the graph of the object that makes the running node of ESB. Next, list the types of configuration builders in MuleSoft. Types of configuration builders in MuleSoft are Spring-Driven Builder and Script Builder. Next, what is TSD in Mule? TSD, known as Transport Service Descriptor, is a connector used for technical configuration. It defines classes name used for message receivers, dispatchers, and requesters. This default value can vary to grasp the behavior of transport. Next, define multicasting router in MuleSoft. Multicasting router in MuleSoft sends messages to more than one endpoint over different transports. It allows the user to move the same messages across different endpoints. Next, what are the characteristics of global endpoint? Characteristics of global endpoint are as follows. The global endpoint is not typified or outbound routing. It can be usable in different places of configuration files. The global service name must be applied so that it can reference the endpoint. It helps to clarify the usage of a particular destination. Moving on. Explain VM transport in MuleSoft. The virtual machine transport is a special type of transport that can be used to send a message via memory. These messages never leave the Java virtual machine, and the Mule instance is running in. Next, name different types of web services. Different types of web services are RESTful web services and SOAP web services. Next, define web services. Web services are a standardized way or medium to propagate communication between the client and server applications on the World Wide Web. Next, what is RESTful web service? RESTful web service is a lightweight, maintainable, and scalable service that is built on the REST architecture. RESTful web service expose API from your application in a secure, uniform, stateless manner to the calling client. The calling client can perform predefined operations using the RESTful service. Next, what is RAML? The full form of RAML is the RESTful API Modeling Language. It is a YAML-based language that describes RESTful APIs. RAML is best for the information needed to describe RESTful APIs. It is similar to web services description language. RAML contains request or response schema, URI parameter, endpoint URL, HTTP methods, and query. Next, what are the differences between SOAP and REST? SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, whereas REST stands for Representational State Transfer. SOAP cannot make use of REST, since SOAP is a protocol, and REST is an architectural pattern. REST can make use of SOAP as the underlying protocol for web services because, in the end, it is just an architectural pattern. SOAP can only work with XML format. As seen from SOAP messages, all data passed is in XML format. REST offers various data formats such as JSON, plain text, HTML, XML, etc. But the most preferred format for transferring data is JSON. Moving on. What are models? Model is a grouping of services that are created in MuleSoft Studio. User has the liberty to start and stop all the services inside a particular model. Next, what is caching? The cache concept is a way of storing the copy of the file in the cache, or any temporary storage location to access it quickly. Next, which languages are supported by MuleSoft? They are Ruby, Python, Groovy, and JavaScript. Next, list the categories of Mule processors. Categories of Mule processors are components, exception strategies, business events, routers, connectors, and transformers. Next, what are the configuration patterns provided by MuleSoft? Configuration patterns provided by MuleSoft are bridge, validator, WS proxy, simple service pattern, and HTTP proxy. Next, what are the advantages of the logger component? The advantages of the logger component are that users can add this core component anywhere in the workflow, and it can be configured to any combination of strings and expressions. Next, can you explain the parameters to configure a scheduler? Parameters related to configuring a scheduler are as below. First is frequency. It is a frequency used by scheduler to triggers flows. Second is start delay. It is the time to wait before triggering any flow. And third one is time unit. The time unit for frequency and start delay. Next, what is a scattergather router? Scattergather router is the most used routing event processor. It can send a request message to more than one target concurrently. This router then collects responses from all routes and aggregate back into one response. Next, what is choice router? Choice router dynamically routes messages using a flow. It is based on a set of dataweave expressions to evaluate the message content. Next, what is scheduler endpoint? Scheduler endpoint is a MuleSoft component or middleware are working on time-based conditions. It allows the user to trigger whenever this condition is met. Next, what are the features of MUnit? The features of MUnit are as follows. In MUnit framework, A developer can create a Mule test by using Java code as well as Mule code. The programmer can design and test Mule APIs and apps, either in XML or graphically within Endpoints Studio or platform. MUnit allows integrating the testing into the current CI/CD process. MUnit offers auto-generated tests and coverage reports to reduce manual work. Developers can also use local FTP/DB/mail servers to make the testing process more portable through the continuous integration. It allows enabling/disable tests. Programmers can extend the MUnit framework using plugins. Features to verify message processor calls. It provides error reports with a Mule stack trace. Next, what is Exchange? Exchange is a hub for the development team. It is used to store and access API, connectors, templates, documentation, and more. Next, what are error types in MuleSoft? Error types are as follows: transformation, expression, routing, duplicate message, source response, timeout, security, connectivity, and validation. Next, what is Mule Data Integrator? A Mule Data Integrator is a tool that is used for mapping data by visualizing it. It offers drag and drop feature to make a developer's coding process easier. Next, what are the advantages of SOAP? SOAP is the perfect medium that is developed for web service to talk with client applications. SOAP is a lightweight protocol which can be used for data interchange between applications. SOAP protocol can work any programming language-based applications on Windows and Linux platforms. It does not require customization to run the web services built on the SOAP protocol to work on the www. I hope the video was useful. We will you all the best. Please send us an email if you want copy of this presentation. Please subscribe to stay on top of all the upcoming videos. Thank you.